After a 1 week hiatus, the Hurry Up offense is back. And today we get to preview week 8 of the NFL season. The boys are back from Italy and we get to talk ball with you all. So excited to bring this video your way. I'm TJ. And of course, got to welcome in my co-host JT and Mason. Guys, how are we feeling? I know both feeling a little under the weather. We all came back from Italy and the two of y'all brought COVID with you. But hopefully you guys are doing okay in your little bubbles.
True. Yeah, no, we're doing all right. Feeling not great, but getting there. I know Mason had a couple of days.
And Mason, are we feeling any better?
Yeah, we're up to about 90%. But over the weekend, it was a little rough. So
that's a big comeback. 90% solid.
Yeah, that man was hugging some emergency. He was pounding the vitamin C. Yep. Love to see it. Love to see it. And we'd love to hear what you guys think about this week's upcoming NFL slate. We're going to go game by game, starting with Thursday Night Football. Bills and Buccaneers. Buffalo favored by 8.5. JT, you and I were talking about this on Sunday. This is one of those teams that's so puzzling. So I'm not touching this game. Maybe it's a decent teaser leg. I could see them winning by a field goal. So I don't hate the long teaser, getting the Bills down to 2.5. But otherwise, I'm not sure I'm touching this game. And honestly, the 42 total, I feel like that's about right. So I think I'm hands off on this one. JT, what do you think about it?
Yeah, just on the matchup, I think the Bills are clearing away the better team. I don't think the Buccaneers are very good at all. And we're starting to see a little bit of their offense slow down, kind of as expected. 8.5 points, that's a lot to lay. So I don't know from a betting perspective if I'd lay 8.5 with the Bills. But yeah, Bills are the better team. I think it's just going to be kind of a boring, not necessarily a boring game, but just what you expect to happen is going to happen. But I don't, like you said, they're kind of a puzzling team. I don't love betting on the Bills or anything they have going on because as soon as you bet on them is when they let you down. So
case in point, look at Sunday. Like that felt like such a good game. Mason, I'm glad you didn't take them in your Survivor League, and I'm glad to see your Patriots pull out a win that they needed. So 300th career win for Belichick too. So two-part question here: how'd that feel? Any like special emotions for that? And then also, what do we think of this Thursday night game?
Yeah, so watching that Pats Bills game last weekend, I was like, "There's no way that we beat the Buffalo Bills. Not today." And who knows, we end up coming away with the W. So thank God I did not take the Bills for my Survivor League, but I know it was bittersweet. Belichick getting his 300th dub. But then TJ, you and me were talking about it. Robert Kraft was saying something about possibly moving on from Belichick. So he probably heard it and was like, you know what? I'm just going to win the game. So,
well, it was a weird couple of
the extension came out. No.
Yeah. It was like a weird couple of it was basically 24 hours. Like we all got on our plane and I saw Albert Breer as a source saying that they're looking to move on potentially from Bill Belichick. Get to Sunday morning and it's like, no, he signed an extension. He's here. It's like, oh, all right, bet. So don't worry about that. All right.
Honestly, maybe that's like the most Bill Belichick, like screw the media thing that he could have done. Maybe he sent Albert Breer. He said, hey, leak this because I just want to have everybody look stupid.
I want you to zig so I can zag. Yeah, exactly. 100%. But talking this Thursday night game, again, I'm not really touching anything. I'm interested to see how the Bills' injuries on defense start to catch up to them over the course of the season. Mm-hmm. No Matt Milano, no Trey White. Feels like eventually they're going to start feeling those losses. But if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and jump into our Sunday slate of games. Eagles-Commanders, second time in 3 weeks. These two teams have been head-to-head. Commanders played pretty close in Philly. Spread at 6.5 in Washington. JT, any immediate thoughts on this one?
So I could be wrong, but when I checked earlier, I thought the spread was at 7 or 7.5.
Okay.
It's now at 6.5, but I'm just clicking on my DraftKings app. It says 91% of the bets are on the Eagles. So that makes me think there's a lot of sharp money coming in on the Commanders.
Some heavy bets. Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Like that's kind of crazy. And this early in the week too, a lot of sharps might be throwing some stacks at it. At 7.5, I kind of like the Commanders, to be honest. At 6.5, I'm just not going to touch it. So last year we saw the Commanders pull off the upset. I don't think that necessarily happens again. I think the Eagles are clearing away, to me, the best team in the league. You still have the X factor of Mahomes on the other side, but other than that, I think the Eagles are the best team in the league. I think they get the job done again. Commanders are not looking great. That O-line just seems to be getting worse. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you. Like if there was going to be a game where Washington stole one of the series, I thought it was going to be that game they forced to overtime. Like that felt like the game they could steal.
Sure.
But Washington also feels like this team where they give you a good game, they give you a bad game. And obviously last week was a bad one. You lose a game to Tyrod Taylor, that's a bad week. That's rough. You lose 4-7, that's ugly.
Yeah.
I think I'm leaning towards Philadelphia in the 6.5. Honestly, I think I'm willing to lay the points based on what
Yeah, I think I lean Eagles as well. The 6.5. A lot of people, including JT, mostly are like high on the Commanders for whatever reason. I'm not one of those people. It's not like a shot at JT or anything. I'm just saying.
No, I do like the Commanders. You're right.
Yeah. No, so I'm not very high on the Commanders. I think the Eagles kind of take this one with very little ease. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it looks like the Commies are having some locker room issues. I saw that interview with Jonathan Allen last weekend, so he's not happy. The coach
Rivera's on his way out.
Rivera needs to go. Yeah, there's a lot of issues going on. So.
Yeah, I mean, just like you needed a reset at owner, you needed a reset at head coach. So I definitely think Rivera's a lame duck head coach, and that's that's a tough place to be in if you're in that locker room. So yeah, also the total at 43.5. I feel like this is going to either sail past it or fall way short. I feel like 43.5 is the wrong number, but I get what they're going for. This one's going to end up in the 50s, or it's going to end up in like, I don't know, like a 17-10 type of area. So play cautiously, or potentially move it out if you're looking to be looking for some plus money plays there, either up or down. All right, next one to talk about Patriots Dolphins. I feel like this is also the second time in 3 weeks we've seen these two teams. What is going on with the NFL schedule? This makes no sense. Dolphins by 9.5. Man, oh man, this is a tough one. Mason, let me throw it to you because honestly, I need a second to collect my thoughts on this one. How are you feeling after the Patriots win, and do you think you guys can make it 2 consecutive division dubs?
Yeah, it was a good win. I would have rather of us had lost that game last weekend because I'm kind of tank. But and I think I think the Dolphins.
I think Caleb Williams is trying to do the same thing.
Right. He doesn't want to go to the Bears. Probably doesn't want to go to the Pats either. But Dolphins. I think the Dolphins win here by more than 10 easy at home, coming off a loss. I'm really high on the Dolphins this year. They're like one of my favorite teams. It's not the Patriots. I just like the way they play. That offense is just crazy. But yeah, I think last weekend with the Patriots, I don't think anything's gonna continue. I think it was just kind of like a fluke game. But yeah, give me the Dolphins.
All right, JT, any leans on this one?
Yeah, I think I lean Pats 9.5. They kept it a 7-point game the first matchup they had, and if you look through, I'm not someone who loves to say, "Oh, you haven't played anybody, you have," that kind of thing. But when you look at the Dolphins' wins, wins with conviction. When you look at the wins with conviction, they're against like bottom teams. Like, so they beat the Chargers by 2. That's a close game. They beat the Pats by 7. Another close game. Beat the Broncos. Obviously, we know they blew them out. They lost to the Bills by 28, and then they beat the Giants handily, and then they beat the Panthers handily. So like, they're beating kind of like bottom barrel teams,
and then lose to Philly.
I don't think that the Pats they're kind of showing us they're not a bottom barrel team. So I just would take the points there. I think the Dolphins are a better team, pretty clearly, but I think I would take the Pats with the points.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards New England the 9.5, and I might even lean under 47, which I know is crazy to say when we're talking about Miami, but we saw New England basically drop a third player super deep to take away that big play threat. They wanted to make Tyreek Hill into a possession weapon for Miami. But also, like, New England's got some speedy corners. Like, they got some guys with some speed. Like, J.C. Jackson immediately comes to mind. They might be a team that, I mean, you're not going to go toe-to-toe with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle every snap. But, like, if there's a team who can do it, they're one of the more well-equipped to do something like that. So I'm kind of leaning New England with the 9.5. Not saying they're going to win. I think this ends up becoming like maybe a field goal game. Maybe it's a full touchdown. But because of how many points this is, I think I'm with New England. And I think I'm leaning under 47. May also tease this one, New England 15.5, and then under 53, something like that. We'll see how much of a degenerate I'm feeling like.
Yeah, that might be the play too. Yep.
Next up.
Okay, you're good.
You got it. No, let me hear it.
I was going to say, Mac Jones went 25 of 30 last week.
That's easily the best game he's played this season. So you hope that.
9.1 like average per pass. So that's not even like, he wasn't throwing all dink and dunks like per usual. So I don't know if he can continue that though. Have we seen strings of games where Mac's really been dicing?
Maybe the first 10 games he played as a rookie, but it feels more, anytime that happens, I'm like, okay, there's just no tape on him. Like, nobody knows his tendencies, what he's looking for on third down, those things. That was just a good game. I would love to see him make it 2 in a row.
Right.
So we'll have to see.
Also, the Dolphins are probably getting Xavier Howard back this week, and Ramsey may be coming back.
True.
So something to think about.
And that defense has been a little disappointing. I do feel like they're one corner away. Like, Cater Kohu just ain't it. On the outside, at least. I mean, Diggs, it's rough being Cater Kohu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what was it? AJ Brown was mossing him all over the field the other day on Sunday night. So yeah, tough time to be a co-host. Anyways, next one to talk about, Rams Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 6.5 at home. JT, I feel like I got to throw it to you as the resident Dak hater of the group. I got to hear what you're thinking about this one. I'm kind of leaning Rams. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I wish it was 7.5.
Me too.
6.5 is tough, man. I don't know. That's tough. Because I think the Rams might struggle on offense a little bit against that defense. I mean, the Cowboys' defense is still solid. But yeah, I am a Dak hater for sure. I'm also kind of surprised at the Rams' record at 3-4. I feel like they're playing better ball than 3-4.
Sure.
So I'm kind of surprised to see I didn't even know their record until I think I looked at it yesterday or early this morning, and I was just surprised at them only being 3-4. I didn't necessarily expect them to be 5-2 or anything, but I expected at least like 4-3. I know we talked about this earlier. It's a 1-game flip, but yeah, 6.5 is tough. I think the Cowboys defense is still legit. I don't know. This is a tough game. I don't know.
It ultimately, JT, I think what you're trying to articulate there is like, take exactly the record now and just double it. If we were in the same point in another 8 weeks, do the Rams feel 6-8 or they feel 8-6? To me, they feel more 8-6 than they do 6-8, and I'm kind of backing you up there. That being said, I kind of talked about this in my power rankings that came out earlier this week, and the reason I wish I had thought about this beforehand, but the Steelers were kind of the perfect matchup. Their strengths perfectly align with the Rams' weaknesses. The Rams' offensive line, if you have a good pass rush, that could be iffy. And if you got guys who can get open, those corners aren't holding up. So I'm looking at this Dallas pass rush, and I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb, and I'm looking at some other guys who can win on the outside. And I'm feeling like it might be a tough matchup there for the Rams. So I kind of like Los Angeles, but if they can't slow down Parsons and Tank Lawrence and Sam Williams and all those guys, it may be a long day there for Los Angeles. Mason, what do you think about this game?
I'm kind of with you guys. I'm not sure. I think I lean the points with the Rams getting 6.5, but I probably won't touch it. I think it'll be a fun game to watch, though.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't really have a lean or nothing. I mean, on either team.
The teams feel pretty close to me.
Yeah.
I think that there's a clear edge on the Cowboys in terms of defense, but I think that I would lean Rams on the offensive side. So I think it's not necessarily a complete wash, and I think 6.5 is about where I'd put it.
Yeah. And the scary thing about betting against or for the Rams is you just don't know when Matt Stafford's going to have one of those games where like he turns into Superman, and it's like if you're betting against him, shit, this one's an L. Or if you're betting for him and he doesn't become Superman, then it's like, okay, well, this is going to be tough. So I'm probably laying off, but I'm interested to see how that matchup plays out. I think the Cowboys pass rush might be a little too much there for LA. Let me get Jags Steelers. I'm honestly surprised this spread's not a little bit further out. It's only Pittsburgh getting 2.5. We were talking about this a little bit before the recording, and we said it even on the recording. I think the Steelers are a 4-2 team that feel more like a 2-4 squad, to be honest, and come from a fan. And then the Jags are like 5-2, but they kind of feel closer to 4-3, kind of in that 500 realm. Feels like that offense really hasn't hit its full stride. So that being said, I really don't know where to go with this one. Honestly, I think the Steelers are a good teaser leg. Otherwise, I'm probably leaving off. If it's not Pittsburgh 8.5, I'm probably not touching this one. Mason, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Jags. They kind of feel like they're getting a lot of love for no reason. Trevor Lawrence is still not clicking. You wouldn't think that would still be the case week 7, week 8, wherever we're at now. But then you have the Steelers, who are 4-2, like you said. It should not be 4-2, but here we are. So I don't know, man. Steelers at home. I could see a little Tomlin action game where the Steelers get away with the win late. Definitely not backing the Jags. I don't know, but I would lean Steelers, I think, at home.
Okay.
Points.
JT, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think kind of what you were saying. I don't think the Steelers feel like a 4-2 team, and the Jags, I feel like, are more of a 3-4 team to me. They're similar to the Rams. I think maybe 4-3.
Sure, yeah.
To this point. But I was actually kind of surprised. I was on the other side of what you said, of it only being 2.5. I honestly thought it would be less. I thought it'd be more of a pick 'em.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, going into Pittsburgh, the Jags offense is kind of like anemic to me. Like, it's so hard to watch. It's not anemic. It's not that bad, right? But it just feels like so much unlocked potential, and we just haven't, or so much locked potential essentially that just isn't getting unlocked. And the Steelers, I mean, TJ Watt's still just playing like an absolute fiend out there, like just an absolute demon. So at home, I'm honestly surprised at 2.5. I probably won't touch it at 2.5. Moves to 3.5. I might take the Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think the Steelers at 8.5. If you're using them in a teaser, I think that's a hot play.
Steelers is the play, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Pittsburgh's pass rush can be another game where they generate enough havoc. The thing is with the Jags is their offense is death by 1,000 cuts. Like they want to have 12 play drives, and to me, that's just not sustainable. You're not going to win. You're not going to win 13 games by doing that week over week over week.
It doesn't work against the Steelers either. Like,
yeah, and this should be the game where Calvin Ridley makes Pat Peterson look like a fool. But who knows? Like this could turn into another 1 catch for 5 yards type of Calvin Ridley game because for whatever reason, Press Taylor doesn't want to kind of push the ball down the field and. Ultimately, kind of to cut this tangent short, this feels a lot of what the same stuff was being talked about with Herbert when Joe Lombardi was there, where it's like this shouldn't be a dink and dunk offense when you have a guy with that talent. Like this should be an offense that creates those chunk plays and pushes the ball down the field. Feels like you got a receiver there to do that too. So I don't know, maybe Doug Peterson takes over as the play caller. I'm pretty sure he was calling plays second half of last year, and that kind of spurred the turnaround. So maybe he'll take it away from Press Taylor again. We'll have to wait and see. But I also worry about Josh Allen for the Jags against Dan Moore Jr. because that could be disastrous and totally destroy the Steelers game plan. So who knows? But
yeah,
leaving this one, we get the battle of the two, titled New York teams. We get the Jets and the Giants. The battle for the middle. That's what I was looking for. Jets favored by 2.5. I think I'm going to take the Jets here. I know Zach Wilson hasn't been world changing, but basically two teams that. The best part about their roster is their defense. I think the Jets defense is a little bit better. So, normal logic here. Let's keep it straightforward and let's go with the Jets. JT, what do you think?
I'd love it at 2.5. I'm playing Jets 2.5. I think maybe 4.5. I start to think about it.
Sure.
But yeah, a field goal. Give me the Jets. I think they're just kind of like what you said. Similar roster construction, but it's like a tier like A defense versus a tier B defense to me. So yeah, I'd just take the field goal just for that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's worth noting in this game, or at least this last week, Tyrod Taylor looked for Jalen Hyatt. Like we finally got to see Jalen Hyatt actually be a fact of the offense. 2 catches for 75 yards, but that's what Jalen Hyatt brings. So look for his receiving prop. Yeah, and Tyrod's looking to take some shots. He's looking to chuck it. So that's something to monitor. But if not that effect, I always lean to who's got better playmakers, and Garrett Wilson is leagues ahead of anybody that the Giants have right now. So another reason maybe to take the Jets there. Mason, any leans in this one?
Yeah, I think I'll take the Jets as well with the -2.5. But I will say, because the Jets is the better defense, but the Giants defense has been playing a lot better the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, I think they gave up only 15 to the Bills. Then last week, obviously, giving up only 7 to the Commies. So something to look out for because now you're playing a Jets team that struggles to move the ball. So definitely going to be a low-scoring game. But yeah, give me the Jets.
And I don't have the exact PFF ranking, but Zach Wilson ranks pretty low against pressure. And Wink Martindale is going to send the house. The only guy who does it more is Brian Flores in Minnesota. So, he's going to see a lot of pressure, and it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that. Also, if you guys have to answer, over under 36.5. Not saying you're betting it, but what a total that is. Do you think they clear it?
Under.
Dude. Under. Yeah. I mean,
I think I'm with you.
Let's just make a, let's say 20-17. Do we think they get to 20-17 as the end score?
I'm kind of thinking 17-13. I'm kind of thinking 17.
Yeah, I don't think they get to 20-17. I don't think they get there. I don't think either offense gets to 20.
And if they clear the over, I feel like there's a special teams touchdown, just kind of fluking it out. Yeah.
Pick six, something stupid to
yeah, something really fluky there. So I would go under, but I also can't really encourage that play because that is a low bar. Yeah. All right, next up, Vikings and Packers. JT, I got to toss it to you here. You're coming off a huge Monday night win. I know you're that probably raised your COVID spirits by 1,000%. But now you get to take on Green Bay, and this is a chance for you to kind of, especially with the loss from Detroit this last Sunday, this is kind of your opening to get back into it if there is a door to kick down.
Yeah, so we have 6 games straight of just poor teams.
It's a very good schedule ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, the next tough game on paper that we play is the Bengals 7 weeks from now. So ideally, right, we come out and we win it. It's an interdivision game that is makes you hesitate a little bit. The line only being at -1 makes you hesitate a little bit. I don't know that Kirk can do what he did against the 49ers twice, just given the weapons or the lack of weapons that we have right now without JJ on the field. But I'm going to play the Vikings for sure. If I can ever take advantage of it's a pick 'em. I'm not going to lay the 1 point. Don't be stupid. give the 5 cents. So I would probably play the money line. I kind of like the under at the 43.5. The Packers don't move the ball particularly well. Our defense is turning up a little bit. And like I said, I don't think Kirk can put together quite the surgical game that he put together 2 weeks in a row, just given the weapons that we have. So kind of like the under, and I like the Vikings.
And of course, got to monitor what Addison's going to be if he is playing this one. But the upcoming schedule.
Oh, no, he's fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Packers, Falcons, Saints, Broncos, Bears, followed up with the Raiders, and then you mentioned the Cincinnati game. This is the next 6 games. If you guys go 5-1, you're kind of right back in that division. I think that's not out of the realm of possibilities, and that may also speed up the recovery time, so to speak, for Justin Jefferson too. So, monitor there. Mason, what do you think about this one? It's currently a 1-point spread. Vikings favorite on the road.
Yeah, I agree with everything JT was talking about. We were able to watch the game last night. Hashtag COVID, no work today. So, no, the Vikings are in a good spot. They look good. Defense balled out last night. Packers have struggled as of late, struggling to move the ball. So I think the Vikings are in a good spot. However, that only being a 1-point spread does feel kind of sketch. But yeah, I'll take the hotter team here with the Vikings on the road.
I like it. And also, this has been a battle. Green Bay offensive line. I always want to see how teams are going to handle Flores and that blitz. And I think this is kind of a tough matchup here for Green Bay, especially on the interior where they've been a little bit weaker. Then we get to Falcons and Titans. And I mean, this has just got Arthur Smith written all over it. This is one, we don't know what's going on with Bijan. So don't ask us, because just like the rest of the world, no one has an idea. Like, I don't know what's going on there other than he's sick, supposedly. So we get the Falcons favored by 2.5 on the road. Not really in love with either one of these teams. Also a question mark if Tannehill plays. So I don't know. I guess there's a little bit more firepower on the outside, and with Bijan, if he's playing for Atlanta, I'll take them, lay the 2.5, but I don't really feel good about Atlanta taking them as the road team here, especially as a road favorite. Mason, what do you think about this game?
I think both quarterbacks are dog shit. Number one, can't stand
receiver unders.
Yeah, hopefully, dude. I don't know what's going on with Bijan, but that pissed me off last weekend for a fantasy owner. But yeah, I mean, I'll take the Falcons here on the road, the better team. I guess you could argue they're not the better team, but I don't know. No, not much of a lean here. I'll go with the Falcons and hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Another 36.5 point total, which I feel like just basically sums it up, right? So also got to note, Titans have already sold at the deadline. They're already moving on from Kevin Byard, DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry, potential targets that could be on the move as well. So JT, what do you think about going into this matchup?
I think both teams are similar in terms of, I don't know, just how good they are. I think I'd lean Titans off a bye at home, just because they have 2 weeks to prepare for an offense that's not all that intricate. So yeah, I think I'm getting points with it too. I don't know if they win the game. They may or may not. I'd probably take the 2.5 points. I don't love taking 2.5. Obviously 3 is kind of the key number, but I think I'll just take the points, see what happens. I think the Titans could come out on top.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think Tampa Bay played a great game last week, and the Falcons could only win by 3 on the road. So like this, Tennessee, not because they're great, could be an interesting teaser leg, just because is Atlanta winning by 9?
No.
Probably. It also should be noted, Jim Wyatt, who covers the Tennessee Titans for TennesseeTitans.com, said if Tannehill doesn't play, it's going to be both Malik Willis and Will Levis getting some playing time.
Lord, dude.
Okay, maybe not.
So
if Tannehill's not playing, don't touch this game.
Yeah, that might be some good advice. But if you're someone like me who had Will Levis as their number 2
I won't touch
this year's
it.
class,
that way.
This is your chance. This is my moment for me to see what my mayonnaise guy's all up to.
I don't even want to watch it. I don't want to see highlights. I don't want to see nothing, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I'm just like super like pissed off about this, but like I don't know, dude.
Honestly, if there's no Bijan, I don't see a major draw to this game. Bijan's like the one player I'd want to watch.
Yep.
And if he's not playing, then I'm out. So, and for that reason, I'm out. Mark Cuban. All right, next one to talk about, Texans Panthers. I've already bet this one, so I'll get out of the way pretty quick. I'm taking the Houston Texans laying 3 points. Mason, what do you think?
I agree. Not much to say. Stroud's been the better quarterback this year. Texans have looked far much better than the Panthers have. Even if the Panthers are at home, I don't think it matters too much. I think both teams are coming off a bye, correct?
Yes, yeah, they both are. Yep.
So both teams, plenty of time to prep, plenty of time to practice, but yeah, I'll take the Texans.
All right. JT, what do you think?
Yeah, Texans -3 is the play. Teams are not close. Like, to me, they're not close. The weapons, it's not close. CJ Stroud's outplaying Bryce Young by a considerable margin. The Panthers, I don't know that they're trying to tank, but they are also calling very conservative game plans. They're not, let's put it this way, if they're at like the 35-yard line, it's 4th and 4. They're going to kick a field goal every time. So I think that just enables you to win by more than 3 if you're the Texans. It kind of makes me think about like what the Panthers are going to do come draft time. And this is looking out a lot further than this week here. But I mean, they're probably going to end up with, I don't know, pretty close to the top pick, I would assume. No, because they traded. They traded all their first.
I was just about to say they would, but it'll be in the hands of Chicago. So
imagine the spot they would be in right now.
Yep.
So
they'd be in such a powerful spot.
They would. So check out my mock draft coming out later this week. It's another week where Chicago picks 1 and 2. They'd be the first. The 90s Colts.
That's crazy.
Able to do that. So
Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison.
That's what I would do. That's what I'm thinking they should do. Maybe Olu Fashanu, but I would go
an offense. Here's your offense.
Yep. And boom. Honestly, I don't know. Mike Renner, lead draft analyst for the Messenger, he's got Drake May at QB1. So might be a debate to be had there as we get further and further down the stretch. It'd be fun to watch. But
there are a lot of quarterbacks out there, man.
There's a lot of good quarterbacks this year. I like Michael Penix a lot too. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we're all on the Texans. Sorry, Carolina fans. But next game, talk about Saints and Colts. 2 teams I kind of feel pretty similarly on. Whether, honestly, taking Anthony Richardson fully out of the equation, he's out for the year. Gardner Minshew, Derek Carr, kind of playing about the same this year. They're really not a whole lot of separation there. I think the wide receivers I think Chris Olave is better, but he's also got this reckless driving situation kind of going on. So TBD on if he's playing. Michael Pittman has almost emerged as the next Michael Thomas. He's got a little bit more big playability. And I like both the defenses. So they're pretty similar. I think the Colts might be a little bit better, to be honest. And you know what I can say? Even if Gardner and Derek Carr are similar, Gardner has been more efficient in the red zone. And honestly, Derek Carr's just been too rough year long. Gardner's been pretty good. He's just one of these guys who, if you give him 8 starts, one of them is going to be disastrous. And that was 2 weeks ago. So I'm feeling pretty good about that not happening so soon. So give me the Colts in the 1.5 points. JT, what are you thinking about this one?
Same. We're kind of on the same page here. They're very similar teams, similar structure, similar strengths, weaknesses, all that. Saying that we trust Minshew over Carr is hilarious to me. Like, I don't.
I think they're playing about the same. I mean,
no, they are. They are. They definitely are. He's pretty terribly, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think I'd lean Colts, but I'm not going to touch it. I think the line's pretty sharp at 1.5.
Also, I like Dennis Allen as a DC, but as a head coach, give me Shane Steichen all day long. I think he'll run laps around Dennis Allen there. Mason, what do you think about this one?
I think the Colts as well. Did you guys watch the end of that game this weekend, the Browns?
Oh, it was bananas. That game was ridiculous.
Dude, watch some of it, yeah.
There's no way they should have left that stadium with a loss. No shot.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. No.
But like you guys were saying, I'll take the hotter team. I'll take the Colts. I'm actually going to bet that right now. Colts money line. Sucks that Richardson's out for the year, though. Yeah. But yeah, that
one's no fun. But everything else the Colts have working is going pretty well. So at least by Richardson not playing, hopefully it just improves their draft status. Get one more dude on that roster. This team could be scary in the AFC South and really give Jacksonville a run for their money for the next decade or so. All right, speaking of Cleveland Browns, the next team we're going to talk about, they're on the road taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle favored by 3 at home. I don't know what the hell's going on with Deshaun Watson. The guy's cleared of injury, doesn't play. Concussion protocol clear, doesn't play. I don't know what all that means.
Bro smacked his head. If you watch that replay,
yeah, he did.
There's no way he was going back in that game.
Yeah. And honestly, that probably should be a decision made by coaches to say, hey, it's not worth risking it.
Like, he might have passed the protocol, but like, protocol is literally just like, look here, look there.
Yeah.
That's your brain's good. What? Like, yeah.
I just think it's interesting when you tie that into the shoulder was bugging him, but he was cleared and then didn't play for another 2 weeks. Like, it's all that. That's just like, what's going on here?
And the investment. I mean, how much money have they thrown at this man? You can't have him
guaranteed now. Fully guaranteed too. Yeah. So, long story short of it, it's hard to say I'm going to take Cleveland because I don't know what's going to be under center. I think I'm going to take Cleveland. That defense is just unreal, man. It's just crazy. That being said, I think Devon Witherspoon's already the best slot corner in the league, so maybe I should be taking Seattle. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know. 3 points is tough. I think I kind of like the over 40, to be honest. I know the Browns defense is like that, but
Okay.
I don't know. 40 feels a little light for me. I think the Seahawks will be able to move the ball, and I think the Browns will be able to move the ball decently as well. I don't know. Feels like more of a pick 'em to me. So if I'm going to play it, maybe I'll take the 3 points with the Browns, kind of like what you're saying. But those teams, I don't know. They're pretty similar to me. They're kind of in the, I guess, like middle pack, what I would call them, on the probably the better side of the middle pack.
Mason, any thoughts here?
Yeah. TJ, I agree with you. I just think the defense is playing way too well right now. And the Seahawks, they've got a lot of injuries. I don't know if Metcalf's playing this week or not, but they struggled to move the ball last week against the Cardinals.
Sure.
If you can't move the ball against the Cardinals, good luck moving it against the Browns. But I like taking the teaser route, Browns +9 over 34. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that defense keeps him in the game. And I think also, like, matchup-wise, even if Metcalf's playing, the Browns legitimately have the best corner duo in the league right now. Like, Denzel Ward, MJ Emerson, those guys are freaks, and they will get in your face, and they will play press man. And I don't think that is something that really is good for Seattle's offense. So, plus you have Myles Garrett, who's coming off a week where he had a pass breakup, a pass deflection, 2 sacks, a blocked field goal. Like, the guy's an alien. I'm not betting against him right now. So
they did give up 38.
Okay. While we're talking about Myles Garrett, he had 2 plays where he jumped offside and the defense literally froze. That was the Josh Downs touchdown. It was the Michael Pittman touchdown. So they gave up 38, but they spotted.
The Downs touchdown wasn't, I don't think it was offsides based, though.
I think the Browns defense froze because they thought the play was dead.
Oh, no. I think somebody fell.
I'll take a look back at it.
He slipped and fell. I mean, either way, it's a broken coverage, so you can toss that out the window if you want. It wasn't like a dot or anything that he broke the tackle. But I don't know.
I think if you
I like over 40. That's all I was saying.
Okay, I can see it. Hey, well, I think there's enough firepower. It just comes down to if Watson's playing this game, and if it's PJ Walker, this is gonna be a fun one. All right, next up we got Chiefs and Broncos. Another game. This is the third one we talked about now. Second meeting in 3 weeks. Look, I won't waste a whole lot of time. Good for the Broncos getting a win, moving to 2-5. You know, good on you. It's got to be nice. Sell some tickets, sell some jerseys, but the Chiefs are the better team here. And I like Mahomes to obliterate that defense, to be honest with you. It was a low-scoring game last time out, but I think the total gets up a little bit more this time around. Mason, what do you think about this one?
Are you sure they're the better team? I'm just kidding.
1 billion%.
Just fine. Yeah, not much to say here, even on the road. TJ, are you going to take the -8?
I think I'll take the -8, to be honest with you. Yeah,
I think so too. I don't think it's going to be close. I don't remember what the score was 2 weeks ago when they played.
19-8. I just looked it up.
19-8.
19-8?
Yeah.
They scored 15 points.
Privilege. An absolute privilege.
I think it was windy that game too, though. I think that's why the score was so low. But
sure.
Yeah, give me the Chiefs.
JT, what do you think?
Yeah, Chiefs -8 is a good play. I kind of like the Chiefs teased with the under. Push the under 52 is what it would push out to. Mm-hmm. And then you get the Chiefs -2. I think that's a lock. So that's probably my play for that game. I think obviously the Chiefs are a better team. Broncos suck. 8 points is pretty low, to be honest. I was thinking more of like 10 points. But maybe it's a lean on the low scoring, the last matchup. Maybe that's kind of why the points are a little tightened from what you might think.
That and Denver coming off a win changes it a little bit. But actually, I like that teaser play a lot. I'm going to go ahead and bet that now. All right, moving on. Next, we got 2 more 4:00 games. Ravens and Cardinals. Battle between 2 of the birds. The Ravens look legit. I actually kind of like the Cardinals to keep this close. They're just not a team I think is going to get routed all that often. I think they're just going to always play hard. Because honestly, like, odds are you're probably not going to win a whole lot of games with Josh Dobbs, so why not just play hard and like build a culture where you're going to be competitive? So I think they keep it within 8. Also, the Ravens are one of these teams, and I love John Harbaugh, and I love Lamar Jackson. He's playing like an MVP right now. They are kind of like the Washington Commanders. They're just a lot better, where they give you a great game, and then they'll kind of like take their foot off the gas, and it's like, all right, why are you getting a squeaker game? I think this is a squeaker game. After a big W, I think they win by like 3 or something like that. And people are going to be like, oh, what's going on? So trying to predict the future here. I'll take the Cardinals, but I do think Baltimore wins. JT, what do you think?
Yeah, Ravens to me are very similar to the Bills, and I think it's because the similarities you see between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Not in the way that they play per se, but just the up and down nature. Yeah, like they'll put 3 games together where you're like, oh, MVP right now. Like, just give them the MVP, and then they come out the next week and they can't hit a receiver to save their life. Like, and this might be one of those games, kind of a letdown spot coming off a big win where they just blew the Lions out the water. So yeah, I kind of like the Cardinals +8. I don't know if I'll play it just because the gap in roster is so large.
Sure.
But if I had to play a side, I'd lean Cardinals just to keep it close, like you said.
And even me saying I think this is a field goal game, again, Baltimore's a teaser leg. I'm absolutely here for it. Get it down to 2. They are the better side. I think they do end up winning. Yeah. I also said the same thing about Dallas when they went to Arizona week 3. So, Mason, what do you think about this matchup?
We're not talking about that one. Yeah, I think I like the Cardinals +8. I don't know if I'll take it. And I will say, I don't think anybody that watches football was super high on the Ravens before this past weekend. And now everybody loves the Ravens. They're just like, oh, Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. They're Super Bowl contenders now. So I think this is definitely a letdown spot. And the Cardinals this year, man, have been very sneaky. They've only won 1 game, but they stick around. They hang around with anybody they play. So I think 8 is way too much. So yeah, I'll take the Cardinals +8 at home.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm seeing a bunch of these AFC power rankings where Baltimore's number 2, and it's like, look, they're coming off a big win. Don't get me wrong, but over the course of the season, I'm not sure they're still better than the Bills. I'm not sure they're still better than Cincy when they get rolling. So they're playing well right now. But let me see it for a full 17 games before we're all like, okay, they're the next closest thing to Kansas City. Maybe they are, but I just need more time to make that judgment. Speaking of Cincy, they're on the road taking on the San Francisco 49ers. 5.5 point spread, man. I don't know. That kind of feels kind of heavy. Cincy's coming off a bye week. I know San Francisco probably isn't a team where they're going to drop 3 in a row. I'm taking the points in the Bengals, man. That's a passing attack that can win through the air. The only reason where I see San Francisco covering this game is because that pass rush just lives in Joe Burrow's lap. If that happens, it may be tough. But I'm taking the Bengals in the points. Mason, what do you think?
Yeah, that one's tough. I think I would agree for right now. Debo's already been ruled out this game. I'm sorry. I just can't see the 49ers losing 3 straight, though. That's the only thing.
That's fair.
But, they're playing the Bengals. So, yeah, give me the points with the Bengals. Be a good game to watch, though. Excited to see that game. So,
all right, JT, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think we're on the same side. Seeing the 49ers lose 3 in a row doesn't feel realistic. They're still disgusting. Debo being out, I think, is a bigger deal than most people understand. It just opens up a lot of the offense as far as spacing, stuff like that. And just having an additional head that you have to pay attention to in the offense, whether it be with motion, just kind of, like I said, just creating spacing in different ways. So Trent Williams, that's a huge thing too. If he plays or not, I think that's a big difference. Mm-hmm. Either way, though, even if he does play, I like the Bengals +5.5. Just to keep it close. I don't think that they necessarily win. I kind of wish the line was tighter so I could bet the 49ers, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, 2.5. Are you taking San Francisco?
I think so. I think I would take it at 2.5. But at 5.5, I like Burrow to keep it close. He's good. But honestly, I think I may even push them out a little bit just to use as a teaser leg. I know we keep talking about it, but the lines feel so sharp this week that you almost have to create value with teaser legs.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, that's what's going to happen down the course of the season. I think the more, data that Vegas gets, the sharper it's going to get. So those 6 points become super, super valuable. So no, I don't think you're crazy by any stretch. That's going to be a fun one though. All right. Not such a fun game. Sunday Night Football. Mason, go ahead and start us off. Bears, Chargers. Chargers favored by 8.5. What are you thinking here?
Chargers, but I don't know if they cover 8.5, to be honest. Even though they're at home, I don't know, man. They've been hard to watch this year, but I am taking the Chargers for my Survivor League this week. Could change, not sure, but I just can't see the Chargers losing this one.
All right.
You got to think they get back on track here against the Chicago defense, who's actually looked pretty good as of late, but I just think them being at home Sunday night, Herbert's not going to lose to the Bears. So, all
right. JT, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Herbert's not losing to the Bears. I agree. Another teaser leg. Again, you push it down 2.5. Chargers, Bengals, teasers right there. I don't know. I love that play. Chargers, Chiefs. That probably is even better. I think that's probably the best teaser play if you're going to look to tease something down. So, yeah, no, Chargers aren't losing at home against the Bears in prime time, too. Herbert's going to show up. Yeah, there's not really much to say other than that. The Bears need to be tanking to be clear. Like, if they want to turn that franchise around, they need to not win games, like straight up. Because this is a year where you have enough talent on the side of the ball that you've struggled with the most on offense for the past, 20 years? I don't even know. So, this is a year where they can literally turn the franchise around if they don't screw up and win too many games.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That being said, I'm taking the Bears in 8.5. Look, Brandon Staley I was excited about the hire at first. He's just not.
You hate Brandon Staley. You hate him.
He's not a good coach. The results
I don't think he's good either. Remember, I texted you guys. They ran a 3rd and 4.
That inside zone.
Shotgun inside zone. 3rd and 4.
When you're playing Patrick Mahomes.
I think it was in the fourth quarter. Yeah, you're playing Mahomes. I think they were down a single score. And they just run the ball up the middle for 1 yard and then punt. I'm like, what are we doing?
I mean, that's more Kellen Moore, the play caller, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the Yankees fan in me, but it's like I can only have the conversation of a team being underwhelming so many years before it's like you got to change it up. Like, I'm sorry, Aaron Boone's not the guy in New York. There's a little baseball take there for the football channel, but and I think Staley's the same thing. This team's been underperforming. They were supposed to be rival with the Chiefs, so they were supposed to be right there with them, and they're just not. Yep. Also, Nick Bosa's been a shell of himself. So I'm kind of worried. Do the Chargers even have a pass rush this game? I don't know. And to your point, Mason, Matt Eberflus, since he's become the defensive play caller, replacing Alan Williams, Bears defense has been a lot better. So I still think the Chargers win. This is just going to be a stupid 20-17 Sunday night game. That's kind of boring. You're kind of in it. You're kind of out of it. And I kind of like the under because of that. These are two teams that can't put up points, but I don't know. I'm just kind of out on the Chargers. I don't think they're legit. They're frauds. But anyways. Long tangent aside, JT, start us off. Monday Night Football. Raiders getting 8 points in Detroit. What do we think about this one? There's another good team to like, honestly.
Man, 8 points is a lot. Like, the way the lines just look, that's surprising to me. I mean, I think there's a clear difference in the I don't know. I don't even know if there's a clear difference in the two teams. I mean, you like to think that the Lions are considerably better, but they come out and just absolutely lay an egg. I don't know what that looks like in the locker room. Dan Campbell is – sorry, I'm kind of rambling. But Dan Campbell is one of those guys where when things are going well, you love to play for the guy.
Sure,
but if something looks that ugly, you start to look at a rah-rah guy and you're like –
what are you doing?
What is he helping us? Like, he's just yelling. He's not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just a very like I said, when things are going well, it's probably easy to play for him and you get a little bit of a boost. But when things go that tragically bad, I just kind of wonder how the Lions respond to that. So I don't know. I think I would take the points with the Raiders, to be honest.
All right. Mason, what do you think?
I'm on the other side, I think. I think this is the perfect time for the Lions to kind of explode a little bit. They're back at home after being on the road for 2 weeks. We all saw how they played last week against the Ravens, so I think this is the perfect spot for them against a Raiders team to absolutely explode on offense. So I think 8, yes, it's high. I think they can clear that number being at home this week.
The other tough part is, like, we're recording this so far in advance to Monday Night Football. Yeah. No idea if Jimmy Garoppolo plays. That might be also part of the factor here. Jimmy G maybe moves it down to 6.
It's a big difference to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Versus Brian Hoyer after what I saw this weekend, absolutely. He makes a difference.
If Jimmy G plays, I'll probably play Raiders +8.
I think it'll move down to 6.
It stays at 8. If it stays
move down, yeah.
It'll move down to 6 or 5, if you were to ask me. Maybe more, honestly. But
David Montgomery, we got to see if he plays because they lost quite a bit of offensive power.
Yeah, they did.
A battering ram. It looked like they didn't know what to do without it.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you take away that one piece. That doesn't feel like a big deal, but it's like an identifying piece. It's like, oh, damn.
That's a weird piece, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, honestly, I think what it is, and like I'm kind of ripping on some other people's, concepts here, but like Steve Palazzolo talks about all the time, where he's like, I just want people to tackle different bodies. And David Montgomery is a body type that they just don't have without him. And it's just like, I want to force a linebacker to tackle that and keep up with Sam Laporta and be able to match Amon-Ra. So I think that is kind of an interesting idea.
Gibbs isn't wearing you down.
Right.
Like, Gibbs is not going to wear you down over 4 quarters.
No. And neither is Craig Reynolds. I mean, he's just not that guy. He's not that guy,
I think
I think I'll take the Lions in the 8. I don't know. I'm not really loving this. Again, a good teaser leg, but I'll save that for my lock of the week. We'll save it for the lock of the week. Little teaser there, but which feels fitting. But guys, are we ready to get into locks of the week? We know what we want to talk about here?
I think so.
Cool. Well, previews down. I'll go ahead and kick us off. Lock of the week. I kind of teed it up right there. Obviously, don't know what this is going to change in regards to if Jimmy Garoppolo is playing or not. So try to get it as soon as you can. I'm going to go with the teaser with the Lions down to -2 and the Ravens down to -2. I think they're going against two teams that probably desire a loss. I think less than a field goal, I can like the advantage they have with rosters there. So I'm going Lions, Ravens, -2 each with a teaser. JT, what you got?
I got Chargers and Chiefs. I already said it once.
Yep.
I'm going to stick with it. So Chargers and Chiefs, going to tease them both down. You get the Chargers -2.5 against the Broncos. They're at home. Against the Bears, they're at home. And then you get the Chiefs -2 on the road in Denver. I mean, I don't care where they're playing at. So yeah, give me the teaser between the Chargers and the Chiefs, -120.
I also did play Chiefs Ravens teaser, both those teams down to -2. So another alternative option there for a hot teaser. Mason, what you got?
Just a typical 3-teamer.
Yeah, Sersky.
Yep, here we go. So Vikings over the Packers.
Appreciate
Texans, it. Yep. Texans over the Panthers.
Love it.
And Lions over the Raiders.
What's it come out to?
Plus 288.
288. Oh my God, you're laying down the bread. Are we in a bakery? God damn, that's great. I love it, Mason. I'm here for it. If I didn't go with the teasers, I was going to go with Houston -3. So I'm on board with you there. Yeah. That was the next one. Awesome. Any other plays we want to shout out? Maybe anything from the Thursday night game? Hold on, let me look at matchups. I don't know if any props are out, but any other player props you guys are looking at coming into the week?
Not really. I don't know. I'm interested to see how this is coming from a Vikings fan. I'm interested to see how Addison evolves as defenses pay more attention to him. I could see an unfortunate letdown spot against the Packers, who have a decent secondary. Sure. So I could see them tighten up on him a little bit and maybe play his under, depending on how inflated it is. So it's not going to be around 50 yards like it was last week. I assume it's going to be probably in the high 60s, maybe low 70s this week. So it might be a good spot for an under Jordan Addison prop.
Okay. This feels like a week where Calvin Ridley should go crazy. So as a fantasy owner, please, God, let that happen. I've already played Stephon Diggs. What's that?
What do you think Ridley's line's at? Because it's just insane. You can't predict.
63.5, 62.5. I don't know. If that, I don't know.
Either gets 100 or 0.
Yes.
It was like Tyreek Hill, I don't know, 6 years ago. But way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
Way worse. Unfortunately, way worse. I've already played Stephon Diggs over 86.5 yards. I think the secondary has been great. Mm-hmm. So I like that one.
Getting ready to say Diggs over.
And then let's see. Mason, any other plays you had in mind?
Hurts anytime touchdown with that stupid ass.
The tush push.
Tush
push. Rashee Rice anytime touchdown?
Oh, God.
I said Rashee Rice anytime touchdown. He's been fine in the end zone.
Give me Brock Purdy under half a interception.
I don't think that's a major lock right there.
I don't think he throws another one. I don't know. I got a feeling that the media coverage is just everybody's gonna be spamming the over. I don't know. You might get a little bit of value on the under. I think Purdy played pretty well against the Vikings last night. So I don't know. I think he kind of silences a little bit of the haters.
Sure. It'd be a good narrative for the NFL to spin too. And I'm always looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown props. I love ASP. So I'm almost always playing his receiving props. But guys, that does it for the Week 8 NFL preview. So be sure to let us know your favorite plays down below. What are your favorite spreads, player props, and then totals? Want to hear all about it. And maybe we'll even tell your play. But I want to say thank you to my co-host, JT, Mason. Appreciate y'all giving me some time, especially while y'all are a little bit under the weather.
Yeah, we're good,
dude. we power through. We power through, right?
Have to.
But that'll do it for the Week 8 preview. Be sure to come back next week when we preview NFL Week 9. So until then, for JT, Mason, and TJ, we are signing off.